Okay then. Hello everybody. My name is GG Maximo, and I will be commentating on Third Strike's 1cc run of today of the 1994 vertical shooting game, NebulasRay. This is from 1994. It was actually developed by the same team that worked on a previous Namco shooting game called Fighter and Attacker. As you can see, this is all rendered in pre-rendered 3D. That's just basically converted to 2D like pre-rendered sprites here. So in this first stage here, you're in space. You're just getting powered up pretty much, trying to pick up items along the way. This would probably be a good time to go over some basics, where most of your score in this game is just killing enemies, picking up bonus items, which are 3,000 points on pickup and 3,000 points on the end of stage bonus. You pick up as many bombs as necessary, because at the end of stage bonus you get 10,000 points. Every time you pick up an item in this game, you do get some iframes, which is extremely helpful. You're also going to be seeing him pick up the green W item, which stands for wide shot. This weapon is the best out of the two due to its width, as well as just being better for score for tech points, since you can get some additional points by shooting non-destructible objects. If you die, you actually lose all your power and are left with a speed item drop. Oof. Shoot. An early death in stage 1. Is he going to keep going? Okay. Yeah, so as you see there, when you die, you just have the shot item drop, and you have 2 weapon power-ups drop, which will usually be a W and a G. Later on in the game, this is pretty punishing, but early on, probably not too bad. One other thing, you also want to pick up speed ups. You need 4 to fully max out speed. Excess speed ups get 5,000 points. You also get these secondary weapon drops, which can either be H, which is a homing red laser, L, which is a orange ball that drops immediately on the enemy, D is a shield that protects you from enemy bullets but still makes you vulnerable to collision damage, F releases the blue blast ahead of you. It's time dependent, so it'll start at this like 1,000 counter but drop down pretty quickly after that. Let's see, right now he's at power level 3 for his shot, and it takes 5 weapon pickups to max out the main shot at weapon level 6. One other thing I also found out is that apparently after a certain amount of time, you downgrade a power level in your main shot, and if more time passes after that, it can drop down another power level, kind of like Turbo Force, but not as severe as that game. Very, very baffling design decision there. So now he's coming on the first boss here, where you have this kind of, I don't know if it's like an attack slide, but it'll basically be moving around the screen. He's going to have to watch out for the boss's lasers on the side while dodging the spread that is released by the boss. During the early part of this boss fight, it's just going to do those lasers followed by the spread. But in a few seconds here, once he destroys all those like outer rings, it's just going to do the spread from the center core continuously until the boss is destroyed. Thankfully, it's not too bad for stage 1 boss. You also get 1 extend at 150,000 points, but that's as far as extra lives go in this game. So here you want to make sure with these enemies, once they do come on screen, they'll first fire off a couple of spreads and then fire aim shots at you. Since he has a pretty low shot power, he ended up just avoiding the second one, since it is quite bulky unless you have all the weapon pickups at this point for wide or G, which stands for glow shot. It's more forward firing, focused on damage, but the range is not particularly great. Now, as you can see here, he dropped into this forest area of the Everglades planet. Here you notice there's a lot of these like little small walker guys that pop out of the forest, so it's probably a good idea just to keep track of those and pick up the D secondary weapon drop just to give yourself that extra invincibility. I'm not sure what he's doing there. I'm not sure if he just lost focus or just didn't move, but I guess he's just gonna keep going then. Okay. Maybe it was because with the low shot power he couldn't really kill that tank all that effectively. I'm not entirely sure. Here you destroy the left tank faster than the right, just because of the way enemy spawns work. There's more enemy spawns on the right hand side later on, so it's killing two birds with one stone. One other thing I can mention is those enemy carriers do shoot shots aimed away at you, whereas most of the other enemies in this game will fire aimed shots later on. It can get easy to be pincered if you're not paying attention, but for the most part, it looks like after that hiccup there, he's back under control. He's down one bomb that he normally is, so that will be interesting to see if you can compensate for that later. This boss here, he timed the D power up so that he get the shield at the beginning of the fight and easily point blanked those side turrets there, which induced some damage to the main body. Due to the way that this boss movement works, it's easier to circle around and then dodge the spread. I think for the later cycles though, you can just circle back and forth. Oh, interesting, he used a bomb there. But yeah, same strategy there, you just dodge the sides with the aim shots once all the armaments are destroyed. Wow, circle around the boss there, nice. Yeah, the emulation here, the music is like 3-4 times speed because I guess it wasn't properly emulated. This is fixed in more recent versions of MAME from probably 0.220 afterwards. It runs at proper speed. So now he's in this asteroid belt zone. Probably the first stage where things start to really pick up. Here he has to be careful. There's a lot of stray asteroids here, along with these big asteroids which cannot be destroyed, but you can actually shoot at them for additional tick points. So now he's actually at max power with the wide pickup there. You just have those enemies coming out from the sides. They launch missiles, not very difficult to destroy. Here, you just destroy some of these ground armaments while picking up items. I think there's another secondary weapon drop that should be pretty close to here too. Let's see if he gets it. The secondary weapon drops are also RNG dependent, so sometimes a different weapon might come out than what you need. It can get pretty annoying when routing certain areas. Okay, so coming out here, pretty soon you're going to see these little space worms, which kind of reminds a lot of people of Mushima-sama Stage 4. Except these, you can't destroy the individual parts of them. You can only damage the head, and ooh, damn. Yeah, like there, it's pretty easy to get encircled and then trapped. Basically, you don't want to. The snakes are too bulky to get destroyed, but you need to be cognizant of the aimed shots from these little Zako enemies that pop from above. Next, you come up to these destroyer ships here, which they'll go ahead and usually fire aim shots at you while releasing 2 purple lasers. So you can just misdirect the aim shots and then stay in the middle to kill the destroyer ship. Alright, let's see if he... Ooh. So here he wants to get the D for the boss here again so that he can destroy all these side pods, but... Okay, looks like you got it. Nice. Because what you can do once you destroy those side pods on the right there is easily milk the asteroids that this boss releases for quite a while, actually. And then I think his plan afterwards is to destroy that laser component on the boss, as well as the core itself before the boss times out. Other than that, not too much to say, really. If you let the boss time out, the platform just rises and zooms out of the screen. It looks kind of awkward, but I don't think he'll be risking that this time. It looks like he destroyed the boss. I am a bit worried about his bomb pickups, though. It's pretty low at this point, and he's going to be needing them later for the last boss on stage 6. So it'll be interesting to see if he can somehow get there with no lives. Stage 4 is this desert-based stage, sand vein area. The main things he's going to want to worry about outside this main section here is these little, I guess, like sand guys that shoot the aim shots at you here, as well as these bigger, I guess, like floating tanks, which they have these like 2 like explosive armaments on their sides, which release explosives, and the explosion radius is pretty big, so you want to make sure you kill this as soon as possible. I wasn't really sure why he bombed one of those, but maybe he felt like he was going to get trapped. And with the ship's hitbox as big as it is, he likely doesn't want to take any more risks if he wants to keep this run alive. I think he also powered down at some point just because of time, so he needs to get that W back, which he did. You also have these snakes here. You just want to stay at the bottom area and just watch out for where they spawn. But you usually have like enough warning so that you can just move as necessary to avoid getting hit. Don't worry about destroying all of them. A lot of the ones that spawn lower down are pretty difficult, if not impossible, to destroy in time. Right, and there he's just waiting for the prop to just remain on screen later so that in the case he does accidentally power down, due to time, he can just pick it right back up. Oh, I guess he wasn't going to wait that long. Okay, now we're coming to the stage 4 boss. This is probably the second most difficult boss in the game here. So you have this first pattern here, these turrets just fire at you, and then another spread happens from this center component. Then this central turret will fire this tracking laser at you. It's really annoying because it just locks onto your nearest position, and if you move too fast you can get walled quite easily because of how much of the screen it takes up. The one good upside to this is that it actually does get fixed at whatever position you have, so you can kind of manipulate the way that's going to track you on screen. Once the center component is destroyed, it's just these bullets here that releases, it's randomized, so he just has to kind of pray, as he told me, and just hope for the best. And probably why I used that bomb at the end there.
Increasing to maximum dispatching.
I've definitely lost runs there before, just playing it casually. It's not fun. All right, so stage 5. I remember him saying in his notes that if you have low speed in this area, you're going to have a pretty rough time. Mostly because there's a lot of small enemies that are either rushing you from the top or at the sides. Which, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Do be a bit careful. They find this kind of like weird diagonal pattern when they come down. Can be easy to get crossed up if you're not careful. Okay. Looks like that wasn't too much of an issue with him, which is good. Since he has enough speed, I think. One bomb is probably not enough for the final boss, but he may get one more bomb drop, so we'll see if he can work with that. The last half of the stage transitions into this sort of Death Star-esque background. Here he usually just, as he told me, point blanks a lot of these turrets to just get them out of the way as soon as possible. And then if you know that you can't, you can misdirect a lot of those ground turrets, since they're all just aim shots. Other than that, it's just, you know, paying attention to your surroundings and not getting hit by a stray shot from the other enemies coming down. Yeah, these destroyers here are quite fast now because of rank. It's pretty scary. Okay, interesting. So I picked up the homing red fire weapon. Alright, and then you have this boss here, which you don't want to be in the middle the whole time. It's going to release those blue lasers, and it's easy to get trapped in between those because it also releases these purple lasers in the middle too. So the strat here is usually you dodge the spread it shoots out, and then you can kind of sweep left to right, assuming it's not firing the central lasers, to avoid the stream bullets as well as their residual explosions. But yeah, he handled that just as expected. Good stuff. And now we're going to be entering the pretty brief but climactic final stage of the Master Fortress area to defeat the evil military faction that took over our government. It's explaining the game's story, the attract demo screen. This early part here, he's probably just going to want to focus on not getting clicked by a straight enemy, and also probably destroying one of these laser components here. The first time that they charge up, it's pretty delayed, so you can get in a lot of damage. You usually either kill it outright by point blanking, or if you feel like you're going to get trapped, move away from the laser, then go back and kill it afterwards. Nicely done. So he's going to come up on this pre-rendered CG Neculus here. You can hit it for points, and you can also throw bombs at it for additional score if you so choose. But he likely won't be doing that here because for this final boss here, he's going to need bombs for particularly the last phase. I think here he's going to want to be careful and time the D pickup so that he can have as much time as necessary for the first phase here. Okay, so here's the final boss. The first phase here, you want to get D. You want to avoid these blue balls, which do take up a lot of the screen. And the reason why you want D is that top part, not above the first part, you actually don't have collision damage with it, so you can actually wrap around the screen, or I guess around the world boss, basically. The second phase here, since the boss moved to the right, it actually creates a safe spot on the left-hand side because of the way the movement works. Third Strike also told me that if the boss actually starts to the left, then the right side spot will actually be the safe spot for this phase of the fight. All he has to do here is basically duck on the left when the lasers come out, and then try to sneak as much damage as he can in on the when it goes to the right. Nice. Okay, so now we're on to the third phase of this fight, and now you're going to see a real nice Taito homage in here. You got these little pink lasers that pop out, and yeah, they're curvy, just like Ray Force, which came out earlier that year. Because of the boss's movement, you can actually stay on the right side for that first big laser that pops out, and then when the boss moves over there, you dodge the lasers while moving to the left. And then it's probably going to do one more attack cycle, and if he needs to dodge the laser again, he'll just go on the right this time. Although I think at this rate he might actually time out the boss, because the last phase of this is quite bulky. It does take a lot of damage. But you've got that laser barrage that you can avoid by going on the left. Then the boss does this erratic movement here where it just fires randomly aim streams at you, and you need to bomb while it's circling around it twice. Unfortunately, because he wasn't able to do enough damage earlier on, the boss timeout happens here, and the boss just escapes. So as a result of that, you get this little blurb here where basically the game heckles you for not destroying the enemy's ultimate weapon, and then chastising you about like, well, you know, the Master Force are going to regroup and attack this planet again. Basically telling you, like, you need to try again to fight this game. So he'll put his initials here. If he had been the final boss, which he has done before actually on his personal best run, you actually get a, like, you'll be, good job, you beat the forces, you'll be remembered forever, and get this additional challenging stage area, which is just stage 1 again, but you start out with no bombs, no power, no speed ups, and are expected to beat the stage without pretty much any resource sites, enemy weapon drops. You also fight the first boss again, and it's much, much more difficult this time around. And in an event he would get there, a lot of it is just down to positioning yourself in the boss's blind spots where it can't hit you if it's spread. But even despite that, that is still 1cc technically. So, GG's. Yeah, Knight, that's correct. The extra stage, which is just stage 1 on steroids, is only if you beat the final boss. And I think on his actual personal best run, he uses like 6 or 7 bombs in order to do this. Because you just can't do enough damage. Oh, that's what happened. So, damn. That sucks. But good job, Third Strike, for still managing to get a 1 CC of this game despite those early deaths and the controller mishaps. Good stuff.
In the year AU-067, the United Forces formed the control
But
force in order to defeat
yeah, that's as far as I know, unless you have a save state that shows off a challenging area.
Everglens.
Yeah, thanks for watching this run, guys. It's great to do commentary.